Hello and welcome to the Working Men's College Foundation Diploma Talk and Tour. This is obviously something we would normally do actually in person. We'd invite you into the college and tell you a little bit about the course and then show you around. But as we're closed at the moment, we thought we'd take the opportunity to put this information online. So if you want to find out about the Foundation Diploma, this is the place to start. So I'm going to go through the presentation that normally I do at the start of these kind of events and tell you a little bit about the course. And then we're going to have a tour. It's a bit of a virtual tour. It basically was me running around the college the day before we had to shut down, videoing the rooms that the Foundation takes place in, but hopefully that'll be useful to you. And then we will talk a little bit about how you can apply for the course. So you might want to skip through the video a little bit. You might want to watch it all the way through. I'll have my email address at the end. If you have any questions, please do let me know. So to start with, the Foundation Diploma in Art and Design, which is the same qualification that you'll get at lots of different colleges, but they're always delivered slightly differently. The Foundation Diploma in Art and Design itself, there are three main things that you'll get from that qualification. The first thing is it's a way into the creative industries. I think often people can talk about art and design as maybe something you can't necessarily get a job in, and while there aren't necessarily lots of people who have the job title artist or employed as an artist, or there are plenty. There are loads of different jobs and pathways available into the creative industries, which will be an opportunity to utilise the skills that you develop on a foundation course. It's one of the biggest growing areas in the UK. It's worth over £84 billion to the UK economy. Foundation is also a way to gain transferable skills for any industry. Skills like problem solving, critical thinking, creativity, people management, coordinating with others, emotional intelligence. These are all in the top 10 skills that employers say that they're looking for employees in any area. And actually these are skills that we know are developed through the Foundation programme. And the last thing that you get from the Foundation is a way to gain skills for lifelong well-being. There was a recent big study done by the government, the Creative Health, the Arts for Health and Wellbeing, which took a lot of studies and put the data all together and discovered that something I think we all knew, that having creative practice or having creative skills in your life is something that can really help you for lifelong well-being rather than just necessarily your career. So lots of people do the Foundation and don't necessarily take it on into a career, but find it hugely beneficial to them anyway. So the Foundation Diploma itself comes in 3 stages, and broadly speaking that maps to the 3 terms of the year that it takes. It's not exactly every term because we finished the first stage a little bit before Christmas, we finished the second stage a little bit before Easter, but broadly speaking it's across the terms. And the 3 different stages are diagnostic, developmental and confirmatory. And those 3 stages will be the same across any Foundation Diploma. The first stage is diagnostic. That's about finding out what it is that you want to do, what you want to do more of, and in order to do that we get you to try loads and loads of different things. Then into the developmental stage where you work in your specialism and you're going more in depth into that specialism, researching into all the possibilities and all the different skills, techniques, processes within that specialism. And both of those first 2 stages are graded just as a pass or a not pass. And the reason we do that is it enables you to make mistakes. It enables you to go down a blind alley. It enables you to do things that don't necessarily work, because the Foundation's about exploring and trying things out and potentially getting things wrong so that you can then get them right. And then the final stage of the course is confirmatory, and that's the last third of the course, which we generally call the final major project or the FMP. And that's an opportunity to show off everything that you've learned in the first 2 stages. And that's when you can gain the grade that you then get at the end of the Foundation of a pass, merit or distinction. So the first stage of the course, we run in the first 6 weeks of the course, and it's called the Carousel. And it's an opportunity for you to try out loads and loads of different things within the course. We do a lot of drawing really being the fundamental kind of bedrock of any art and design practice. But we're talking about drawing in terms of drawing being recording information using materials. So looking at the widest possible definition of what drawing might mean. We're also looking at design. It's quite easy to forget sometimes that this is a foundation diploma in art and design. So during that first 6 weeks, we're trying different ways of working as well as different materials and techniques. We're looking at different ways of thinking, different ways of managing your work, different ways of approaching projects. And one of them is a day-long hat design project that we do, looking at the design cycle. We're developing your context, your awareness of the art world around you. Now, we don't do a great deal of trips on the course because we're only 3 days a week and you live in central London. So we ask people to go and utilise those days when they're not in college to go and do their research, to go and visit galleries. We have an amazing array of free galleries that are available to us in London, and we really guide and support our students through locating where's going to be most appropriate to visit, but really encouraging them to do that independently. And the last bit of the diagnostic carousel section of the course is to try lots and lots and lots of different processes, materials and ways of working. So you'll do some workshops in illustration, in digital media, in fine art using found materials, in ceramics, in textiles. We'll do some drawing, we'll do some painting, we'll do some sculpture. So there's an opportunity to try loads of different things and see what's going to suit you. The main important thing though is that we're going to play. Again, the opportunity of having those first 2 units just being graded as a pass or a not pass gives you the opportunity to play around, and actually play is an incredibly important creative process that we're going to take very seriously on the foundation course. We like to be serious about play. At the end of that first 6-week session of the course, we have what we call the Who Am I conference, and that's an opportunity to kind of sum up what we've done and think about what the next stage might be. It's when we think about what specialism we want to go into. We tend to get lots of different tutors coming in and talking not only about the specialisms but about their own practice. We get a lot of students who left the course in previous years coming back and talking about their pathway through the foundation and also what they've done since. We do a lot of tutorials in that week, and by the end of the week you should have chosen which specialist group you want to go on and work in for the next section of the course, for the developmental stage of the course. So we have 3 pathways on the Foundation Diploma in Art and Design at the Working Men's College, but we divide them up not necessarily by material or process, although there is an element of that because they're based in particular rooms, but more about the way that you might think if you're working in that pathway. So, for example, visual communication, which tends to be our graphic designers and illustrators, sometimes photographers, people working in film, advertising, marketing. They're people who like to have a job to do. They like to work to a brief. And we try and model kind of industry standards in terms of the timescales of briefs that we work to in visual communications. The people who want to have a task, want to have something that they can work to against a plan. Applied arts tends to be people who particularly love a particular kind of material or process. So that tends to be people who are working in jewellery, fashion, textiles, print, ceramics, paper making, model making, architecture, costume, where really the process and the making is the thing that's really important. And they will either want to respond to a brief or they will use that material and that process to develop their own ideas. And then in fine art and film, which tends to be people who are working in painting, filmmaking, installation, performance, writing, that's where the idea, the message that you've got that you want to give to the audience is kind of the driving force, and you'll use whatever material is available to do that. So those are our 3 pathways. Because we're quite a small foundation course though, those pathways aren't necessarily set in stone. So if you're in visual communication but you want to use a sewing machine to make one of your illustrations, you can go and see the fashion tutor. If you're working in applied arts but you've started making large-scale sculptures out of ceramics, you might want to go and have a chat with the fine art tutor or maybe take part in one of those tutorials. Because our groups are only around 10 to 15 people in a group, we do have that flexibility, and because of the diagnostic carousel stage at the beginning of the course, you will know all of the tutors, you'll know everybody in the course, you'll know all of the rooms and all of the equipment. So we can be quite flexible about which groups that you're in. So, that's the kind of leading focus of each of those groups. So fine art, often people just think of fine art as painting and drawing. That's often the term that's used for it through A levels, but this is a couple of examples of students' work who arrived with us as painters at the beginning of the course, but by the end of the course were making very large scale painted sculptures. Someone who did some art writing as part of their course, and also some film work that some of our students had produced, one very much around installation, one very much around performance. Within the Fine Arts Studio, we're able to be quite flexible about how the studio is used. This was a student who wanted to make some very large-scale installation work, and she actually negotiated with the rest of the students in the room that she was able to paint the floor, and they would clear the space for her to use that, but that they would then be able to work over the top of the space when she wasn't wanting to use it. Visual communications, not necessarily just all graphics and design. We'd ensure that everything has some kind of handmade element to it that perhaps is then digitised. For example, this book cover here, which is quite a digital outcome, started off with something very handmade. This is a learner who wanted to go on to do tattoo design, and in order to be able to show off her work without actually doing tattooing as her final project, we settled on her doing a project where she was working on crockery to show her skills in creating illustrations on a non-even surface. Like I say, visual communication is not necessarily all computer-based, although it can be, as you see here. This is a really nice example of a handmade text that was made, if I remember rightly, using baby powder and nail varnish. And this is one that was done with hundreds of thousands. Applied arts can be really broad. We've got some costume designs, but also some fashion designs, some printmaking. If we have enough people who are making fashion outcomes, we will do a fashion show at the end of the year. Textile design, model making, architecture, all falling within applied arts, as well as ceramics, jewellery, weaving, really anything that is materials focused. So during the developmental stage, as well as working in your pathways, we also have a programme of tutorials, of work experience. We have some live briefs that are set by local companies. We encourage you to enter a lot of competitions that we get, both within college and external. There's a number of college exhibitions you can be involved in. There's additional learning support available within the college, and also some bursaries that you can apply for. And then the final bit of the course is the final major project. And this is when you have the opportunity to set your own brief. And at the end of that project, which is around 10 weeks long, you get graded as a pass, merit, or distinction. And then we put a big show up, and we have an exhibition and a private view and a big celebration of what we've done during the year. So here's a couple of quotes from students who've been with us in the last couple of years. I'll let you pause on this to read through them if you want to, but I think one of the things that we really can sell ourselves on, if you like, is the experience that our students have, and they all give us some fantastic feedback. We get great kind of word of mouth from people. Some of our ex-students have gone on to do fantastically well. Hannah Black, someone we're very proud of, who was one of the top 10 artists at Frieze in 2017. And if you'd like to apply, you just need to contact us at artschool@wmcollege.ac.uk or download the application form that's on our website. And our interviews this year will be online. So what we'll do now is take you on a little tour around the building. Please do be patient. I'm afraid I literally ran around with an iPad filming what I could see on the last day of college. So it's not the most lively room. Normally there's a lot more people in studios, but it gives you a bit of an idea of where the course will take place. So once we've done that little tour, we'll come back here and I'll tell you a little bit more information about how you can go on to apply.
Okay, so as it looks like we're going to be closing down today for a little while, just thought I'd do a tour of the foundation course at the Working Men's College. So this is our front entrance, and let's go and have a look round. So it's just up the steps here into our historic building near Mornington Crescent, and we come into the entrance, into reception, and we will come and say hello to some of the artwork in here, and hello to our reception staff. Give us a wave. So this is the way into the college, and we come down the main corridor. We'll take a little tour round into the cafe area, where we always have lots of examples of students' work up. If you want to take a look at some more examples, you can have a look at our gallery online, that's the address, but this is work from our studio show this year. We run a lot of courses here at the college as well as the foundation course. So these are from the studio classes, that's from classes that are for students that have done our non-accredited courses for a number of years and have got a lot of experience to sort of work a little bit more independently. Normally this cafe space is much full of people, but we're quite quiet today. So this is our visual arts classroom. You see we've got a bank of Macs and a colour printer available. Big space to display work, printing press, lots of tables and a sink and everything in here. Like most of our rooms, this is multiple use, so other classes do use this, but we've got it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday all day. Lots of student work up on the walls. You can see more of that on our blog online as well. So that's the visual communications room. And then we're coming down to level 6 on the other side of the building. I think while we're here, we'll just take a little look into our historic library. Building was built in, about 120 years ago, and this library was built, perhaps built as a library at the time. You can see there's more computers available to work at in here when you're not in the studio. And our fantastic library staff, give us a wave. Sue, hello.
Hello.
And we've got a fantastic range of art books available for you to borrow and look at. Also a lot of journals that come in that you can look at each month. So this is our library space. And that's just next door to the fine art room. So we're going to go and have a little look around there now. So it is a very historic building. It's 120 years old, and this is one of our big purpose-built art rooms. So this is what's called the Ruskin Room. And it's a large-scale art room. It's used by the Fine Art Group Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And a lot of students are kind of building installations in this room or working on the walls. We've got sink area, large-scale painting that's happening. This is a little den that someone built at the beginning of the year, and it's actually been kept in situ because it's a really nice kind of dark space and plants for people to draw. Some little sculptures happening. We've got these specific kind of built-in installation spaces that are full of junk at the moment but can be used to build installations in. Some more kind of large-scale painting things happening. Some more little sculptures and another. It's quite an interesting kind of installation happening in this room at the moment. So big old airy windows in this room, really nice high space, and when we've got upstairs what we call the mezzanine, which is space with another load of Macs and PCs and a printer up there, and that's a space that students use if they want to kind of focus or they want somewhere that's a bit cleaner and tidier, kind of a bit of an office space that's available to them. And this is our applied arts room. So this is where the applied arts group works. You see there's a Mac set up in here. We've also got a heat press, which is a great bit of kit that we use. Lots of sewing machines. Lots of blocks and figures to use. Really nice big working tables that are moved around. Nice big working space again. Great space, really nice and airy. So yeah, this is the applied arts room.
Okay, so that's the tour around the building. If you want to apply, like I said, interviews will be online now. So you'll be asked to send in a digital portfolio. A PowerPoint of images or a set of JPEGs is absolutely fine. You can just take photos of a physical portfolio if you have one and some sketchbook pages, or get together what images you have of your work that you've done so far. Please don't worry if stuff's stuck at school, you can't get hold of it, just send us what you can get. And then we'll set a time, probably about 30 minutes, to have a chat via Skype or Hangouts or Zoom or Teams or whatever works for you. We'll have a chat. I normally do them on Thursday afternoons, but if you can't do that, we can find another time. And so in the meantime, if you have any questions or you want to send your application in, you just send it to artschool, artschool, @wmcollege.ac.uk. You can check out our website for some more information about the course, and the link is there. And also on that page is a link to our blog of learner work. If you follow this link, it takes you to the foundation, and you can see that we have a lot of example photos of the sort of things that Foundation have been getting up to. I just kind of run around the studios every couple of weeks and take some pictures of what's being done. So have a scroll through that and see the kind of work that we're doing. Once we've done the application, we've done interviews, we will be inviting you to see our end of year show, which this year is most likely going to be digital, but I think is a really good way to get an idea of the sort of work that we're doing. And yeah, we look forward to receiving your applications and having a chat. If you have any questions, please do just contact me at this address. Thanks very much. Bye bye.